Hey everyone, and welcome to a new firmware announcement. Yesterday a new firmware came out and it's available for both XIM4 and XIM Apex. It contains one of the biggest changes in a long while and primarily targets PlayStation users. Personally, I'd say it's the biggest change since the addition of SAB a little bit more than a year ago. But before we go into the actual details, let me show you where you can find the firmware and how to install it. Head into the XIM forum and scroll down until you can see the Apex area. Under the download section you can find the beta button. Click it and you can see all the available beta firmware versions. At the top you can always find the most recent one, which I will cover now in more detail. For the XIM4 it's the same process, just use the XIM4 forum section instead. At the bottom of the patch notes you can find the explanation steps on how to update your XIM Apex. If you do not fully understand those upgrade steps, then you can watch my XIM Apex basic guide, where I explain and showcase the whole update process in more detail. In that video I also show you how you can backup your configs. Also, this time you're not required to upgrade your XIM manager. It's enough to only update your XIM Apex. The current official XIM manager perfectly works with the new beta firmware. If you do not have the latest official XIM manager yet, then you can find the download links at the bottom. But let's finally get to the actual changes of this firmware. The new firmware introduces mainly one big change, which is the so-called micro-aim optimization. As you maybe already know, the stick resolution of the Xbox controller is a lot higher than the one of the PlayStation. In numbers it's 256 times higher, so yeah, there's actually a huge difference between the two. The higher stick resolution allows the XIM to provide better mouse movements on the Xbox than on the PlayStation. For example, the micro movements are much finer and smoother on Xbox. If you play on both consoles, then you probably know what I'm talking about. Now, thanks to the new XIM firmware, the mouse movements on the PlayStation got a lot closer to the ones on the Xbox. Now don't get me wrong, the mouse movements on the PlayStation were already extremely good before the firmware came out. But now they just got a little bit better. Especially the micro movements feel really good now. There is close to no mouse stutter anymore when making slow mouse movements. The reason for why PlayStation 4 games often suffer from mouse stutter is the following. When game developers program a game for consoles, they usually base their game around the Xbox controller because of the higher resolution. And for the PlayStation port, they then just downscale the stick resolution. The thing is, not every game developer does a good job during the downscale process. So the outcome can suffer from a variety of different problems, such as bad micro movements or inconsistent left and right speeds. Now, thanks to the new firmware, the XIM can now eliminate those downscaling problems. Games that suffer from these problems will progressively be retrained, so the downscaling error won't affect you anymore. Here you can see a list of games that have already been retrained. You can find a link to this topic in the video description. But keep in mind that not every game has this downscaling problem. So once you installed the new firmware, how can you make sure that you have the new micro movements? If you play one of the games on that list, then you have to update your XIM game library. You do that by opening your XIM manager's global settings in the top right corner. After that, click on the Force Games Download button. Once your XIM downloaded the latest game profiles, you have to create a new game config. Your old XIM configs for these games will not be updated, so for the new micro movements, please create a new one. Also, since your micro movements will now be much better, you may experience some aim assist changes. Minor mouse stutter can reduce the aim assist, and since the stutter should now be gone, you might face a stronger aim assist. If that turns out to be a problem, then you can replicate the old config feeling by adding a little bit of boost. From my testings, a boost value of 50 to 150 usually does the trick. That way your new config should feel exactly like before the firmware update. At last, I want to mention that the Xbox is not affected by this firmware update. As I said previously, the stick resolution of the Xbox is much higher than the one of the PlayStation. So all this firmware did was to allow the PlayStation to catch up to the Xbox. The only other change that the firmware introduces is a flashing bug that occurred when using a USB switcher or XIM link. The XIM basically wouldn't stop to blink if the mouse and keyboard weren't connected to the XIM. So guys, if you enjoy the new beta firmware, or if you happen to find anything that doesn't work as it should, then please share your feedback in the XIM forum. You can find a link to the firmware discussion in the video description down below. Your feedback is critical to make your XIM better and better with each month. If you have any questions about your XIM or about this beta firmware, just ask in the comments down below. Guys, if you liked this video, hit the like button or even subscribe to this channel. And for the crazy guys out there, you can even become a channel member now. I'd really appreciate that. Plus you also get a few extra benefits for becoming a channel member. Also, let me know if you would like me to keep you updated on future firmware releases by doing more of these videos whenever a new firmware comes out. But that's about it for this video, guys. Thanks for watching and I will maybe see you in the next one.